Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm here to talk about one stock and why I think this stock in particular can honestly make you life-changing returns. I think that it's not too complex of a company. They have a simple business model, a lot of backing from great, huge corporations that have proven themselves over time that obviously believe in this company. They make good investments, they know what they're doing. So yeah, if you guys do enjoy this video, be sure to smash that like button. It helps me out a lot. Really do appreciate it. We're on our way to 600 subscribers as well. So if you could hit that subscribe button as well if you haven't already, very much appreciated. Let's get right into it. The stock we were talking about today is ticker symbol CELH, Celsius. I made a video pretty recently on this stock. If you didn't catch that, go watch that one. But what I'm here to talk about today is a little bit different. Some other reasons why I also like Celsius. I think that this stock is one that you could throw in there of best 3 stocks to buy right now or some video like that. But I think it deserves its own video because of the complexity behind this company. But it's only a single product. I mean, it's not, but it is. I'll get into that more later, but you see Celsius's year-to-date chart. This is a company that's trading at a very high price. They're up 105%. In the past year, they're up 60%. In the past 5 years, they're up 686%. Following a recent dip, they actually hit an all-time high of around $95. It was a little bit more than that. And now you see they're over at the $54 mark. They recently hit a high of 62, around $63.50. That's their 52-week high. So Celsius is definitely making waves in the energy drink space. If you guys didn't know, Celsius does offer energy drinks. That is what the company does, liquid supplements. They recently acquired Alani Nu, who is also a pretty big energy drink company whose main customer base is females. That is all their customer base. That is who they're trying to attract. So that was a great acquisition for them, who also makes protein bars, energy drinks, protein drinks, things of that nature. And they actually also just acquired Rockstar. And if you didn't know, these are all very much backed by Pepsi. We'll get into that in the earnings presentation. But all of these companies are, they have a PepsiCo partnership. They're on the, Celsius takes control of energy drink aisle. I think Celsius is selling more than some of the top dogs. If we actually do want to compare right now, let's look at their market cap. Celsius has a $14 billion market cap. If we look at Monster, another, highly stock that's done amazing over the past 5 years, it's done amazing all time. This is a great company, to say the least. But Monster has a $62 billion market cap, and that is a lot more than Celsius. But Celsius really seems like they're kind of doing their thing right now. The hot new kid on the block. They just got added. PepsiCo backs them. They're thinking big things for this company. They're very popular. If you didn't know, that's another great investing strategy. I wanted to talk about that a little bit. This video is, I'm not sure the exact name. I think it might be social investing, but I mean, people invested in Uggs. You see Dex Outdoor. I just typed in UGG and Deck came up. Right when Uggs were blowing up, everyone was buying Uggs. Just around right here in 2023, the stock was at $40 and it went all the way to 217. You would have 5x your money just because you noticed a trend a little bit early. So if you are someone that's online a lot, or you're paying very very much attention to the kids, the teens, the people that are following the trends, you should invest in these companies. There's Abercrombie and Fitch. That was another one. LaCroix was a big trend. The company that actually made LaCroix did pretty well. I don't remember their name right now, but you want to look at these trends, and I think Celsius is the next company on that list. They're very much like these other companies that are big trends right now. So let's get a little bit deeper into the numbers and what's actually going on in the company. I just gave you guys a pitch of what Celsius actually is as a brand. Now let's look at their numbers. We see their first half of fiscal year 2025, their revenue was $1 billion, over $1 billion. Great to see. Their gross margin was 51.8%. Gross margin that high in the consumption sector of the stock market, they're selling things that people consume, is very good. To say the least, honestly. Their net income of $144 million. This is great. Margins, adjusted EBITDA margins of 26.2%. So this is a high margin, big money making company. What more do you want? There's 2 portfolio brands. This is Celsius and Alani Nu after their recent acquisition. Number 2 growth portfolio in RTD Energy. That's great to see. They're outpacing, companies like Monster, and I don't think they're outpacing Red Bull. Red Bull's still up there, but Monster is definitely getting close to being surpassed by Celsius. And they're also the number 9. I found this very interesting. Out of everything you can drink at the store, They're number 9 in liquid refreshment beverages and brands in the US. So all those brands you can think of when you're, looking at the shelf, there's Yerba Mate, there's Diet Coke, there's, all of those. They're number 9. That's pretty high. That's very high. So I love to see that. Also 4 billion in retail sales. Don't hate that either. But I mean, these are all their products. This is a very simple company. Like I said, they have one product. It is just these energy drinks. But they do have, a couple other products. But I mean, this is mainly what they're selling. It's what their money making is coming off of, is these energy drinks. Their investment thesis, they have a leading portfolio of premium lifestyle energy and hydration beverages. We see that, looking at all of these. They talk a little bit more about this right here, and I mean, I don't think it's that important. We can skip over that. Their growth strategy, attracting new consumers to the category. The thing with these Celsius is when people start drinking them, they get hooked. There's an insane amount of caffeine in these. If you haven't had one, they do taste great. They really do. They taste pretty good. It tastes like a soda. You drink the orange one, it tastes like Fanta, pretty much, I'd say, but it's just 0 calorie, which is another appeal to the audience. And it also just, the branding is what they do really well. It's kind of like Trader Joe's. I'd compare it to Trader Joe's. Makes food that maybe isn't that good for you, but their branding makes it seem very organic, very healthy, very fresh. I think Celsius does the same thing. That's not to say it's not good for you. I don't think it's the best for you, but I do think that Celsius does a great job on the branding front of their company. They're expanding product availability, increasing consumption frequency. This is very much true to the dismay of the public's health. We see that these companies that actually are addiction based, people are addicted to caffeine. Most Americans are. We see that these are companies that are addiction based. Let's look at Philip Morris, who makes Zins. They make nicotine, tobacco products, things that people are highly addicted to. In the past 5 years, while paying a 3.34% dividend, keep that in mind, Philip Morris has risen 100% in their stock price. And it looks like, you look at their all-time chart, and it looks like the coronavirus never even happened for this company, because they just kept going up. They didn't have any problem powering through that, because people, it doesn't matter if there's a pandemic. The worst thing that can happen, a pandemic, it doesn't matter. People are still addicted to their nicotine. They need it to get through the day. It's the same thing with this Celsius. I think that even if there's an economic recession, which I'm not saying there will be, people are still going to need their Celsius. They still need to drink their caffeine. They need to, be ready, be awake for the day. So I think that no matter what, people are going to try to, keep up with their addiction, even if it means, it's cutting into their costs. It's, even Celsius is 10% of their monthly cost. They don't care. They just need to, drink it. And that's, it's not unmoral to invest in something like that, but I think those are the companies you want to get in. Their record Q2 revenue, it's up 84% year over year, driven by Alani Nu's $301 million revenue contribution, gross profit of $381 million, up 82% year over year. So this was a big investment for the company, so they're definitely still paying off that investment. They acquired Alani Nu for just over $2 billion. But the fact that they're, getting a gross profit of $381 million in a quarter after acquiring that company for $2 billion, that doesn't make me feel too bad. They're going to make that back in, a year, which is pretty insane. To have that much profit after everything's said and done, you're going to break even on an investment of $2 billion in a year. Can't complain. That's a good investment. Celsius's holdings portfolio surpassed $4 billion in past 52-week tracked retail sales of 7/20, more than the tracked retail sales of the next 8 energy drinks combined. So Celsius is in this weird spot right here, where I wanted to show you guys this actually right here. They're in this weird spot where Celsius is very strong in the 3rd position. So you see C4, Ghost, Rockstar, and Reign are all kind of down here. And they're all very similar. They're all very similarly sized. Even, I haven't heard of this, but NOS and then Bang, I've heard of Bang. But all of these are very similarly sized. They're very small. But then you look at these, you combine these. Celsius is almost up there with Monster, but they're not. They're way bigger than C4. So they're in a very weird spot in this 3rd place, where they're still far away from Monster. They're still far away, but they're getting closer. They're getting closer to Monster than they are to dropping to C4. There's definitely, they're moving faster than that. So I think they're going to surpass them eventually. I think that's just inevitable as time, goes on. We see their Q2 2025 financial highlights. These are comparing the prices from last quarter last year. Up 41% in North America in revenue, internationally up 33%, gross margin up 20 basis points. Love to see it. we see their net income's actually down a little bit, which I think, kind of makes sense as they're investing in these other endeavors, these other ventures. It makes sense. Celsius Holdings consolidated revenue. You also need to keep in mind this Alani Nu acquisition did help them out a lot. That was a big acquisition for them. It was very smart to do, but they paid a lot for it, but it seems like what they paid was worth it. I mean, Celsius knows what they're doing, and PepsiCo backing them is giving them a great backbone, a great, someone to work off of, someone to give them that kind of, what they need, to say the least. So I think that Celsius is actually looking very good right now. This is Q2. That's the most recent one that they reported. I think since then they've actually acquired Rockstar brand, which is very interesting. Not a very popular company in the energy drink space, but still, decently popular. And they're just kind of trying to, rack up as many of these companies that they can and just kind of have an energy drink conglomerate. I think that Pepsi wants to own the energy drink sector. There is Monster, there is Red Bull, but after that, it's just Pepsi-owned products. So I really like Celsius right here. I think that, yes, the high price can deter people away. That definitely makes sense. I get where you're coming from. The PE ratio is 152 right now. I think that's a little skewed. I think we'll see that balance out next quarter on earnings. But definitely, it is a stock that's had a massive run-up, and I see that from the stock price. But I think you can't time the stock market. You can't time these great stocks that are growing so rapidly, because you guys just saw that stock chart. You were staring at it for a while. Now let's go to my portfolio right here, and a stock that is very similar to this one, price-wise. About to hit $30, by the way, up 250% on this one. If we look at SoFi right here, I mean, you can't even really tell anymore, honestly, but this is pretty similar to, what happened with Celsius. The SoFi was at $18. They dropped all the way to $9, and then they went back up to around that $14 range. If you invested in this, you would have 2x your money if you invested in it at the $14 range when it wasn't back at this high right here. So you would have 2x your money. And if you just didn't do anything at all, you would have been, you can invest it for 2 times. You can invest in it now for 2 times the price than you could have when it was at that, all-time high for the company. So, it's up to you if you do want to buy. I think that, yes, I can see that it's expensive, but I think relatively to what the company's doing and the growth rates they have, it's honestly still not that expensive. I think that especially dollar cost averaging into stocks is always a good idea, especially in these ones that are on runs. You want to make sure that it's a stock you'd be happy to own at $40 and a stock you'd be happy to own at $70. You need to have, both sides of the spectrum. This is a stock where you invest in it for their business thesis, their business model, their leadership, and not, for the price. It does definitely mitigate your risk investing in a cheaper stock, but I think this is about as good of a price you're going to get Celsius for a while. So that's all I have for the video today, guys. I hope you did enjoy and you do pick up some Celsius shares. I think it's a great company. Maybe try a Celsius beverage and see how you like it. Add to the net income a little bit, the revenue for the quarter. So yeah, that's all I have for today. I'm going to be uploading daily videos about new stocks, about ETFs, about what to invest in, how to make money. Really appreciate you guys for watching. Be sure to like if you did enjoy. Also subscribe to the channel on the way to 600 subscribers. Thank you, and catch you in the next one. Peace.